Hi, it's Diane again, and I'm back to continue working on, fix that a little bit, okay. Working on these journals. I have to do the third signature for my first set of 2 journals. So let me just show you what I did off camera. I sewed this pocket on and added this little piece of tape with glue, or lace with glue, because I forgot to do it before I sewed it on. And I made a 2.5-inch tag to insert into the pocket. I did all the inking on the white pages and tags. I included this Victorian ladies playing card that I found at an antique store last week. Tucked it in there. I haven't done the stamping yet. I stitched around this tag, this little card, and glued it on, and then added this napkin and book page decoupage tag inside the bag, and then added a little, I think this is Janami Rose, and then this is just a scrap of lined paper that I folded and tucked behind. And I knew I forgot to ink those, but I will do that. I think I had that little pocket sewn on already, didn't I? So that's what I did to that signature. I sewed this pocket on and made the tag for it. Well, I just put the reinforcement and added the seam binding. And added one of the Victorian ladies cards again. I sewed this on as a tuck spot and included a folded piece of paper for journaling on. I did ink these. And I added, sewed on that little strip of pink tissue paper, or tracing paper. And I stitched around this card and glued it to the bag and added a tag. These tags I had to trim just a little sliver off of each side. They fit in there, but it was a little tight, and I don't know if it's because they were Mod Podged and maybe the napkin made it a little thick on the edges. But anyway, I just trimmed a little sliver off. Added a little piece of graph paper that I inked and another journaling card. And sewed a little strip of lace down there. So now I am ready to work on the third signature. So what I want to do first is find a pretty image for the fronts of these pages. I think this one, I love this one, but I think that's going to have to go on one of the other books, the second set of books, because that's, they're bigger. That looks pretty if I could back it with something in a contrasting color. I think I'll do that. I could use her if I trim it a little bit, because it's just a bit too wide. It just barely fits on there, but I want a little bit of leeway. That's pretty too. And she's too wide. Okay. I think I'll go with her. Just going to trim that a little bit. I'm going to find something to strengthen these pieces a little bit and add a little bit of contrast between the two, between the image and the background. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I want gray or a light blue. So I'll bring both over. Wonder if that piece is big enough. Okay, let's work on this one first. Oh yes, that helps. Has to be a very small mat on it because there isn't a lot of room on that page. Perfect. I'll glue this on and then I'll stitch the pocket on. This was printed on a parchment paper. I did take some more aspirin when I turned the camera off, and I am feeling better. Then I'll stitch that on as a pocket, and I will make another one of my tags for there. So for here, do I want a gray? I don't think that's enough of a contrast. That is I'm putting glue on the back of this image. This postcard of the lady is a printable from Rachel, Roxy Creations. I mentioned before that when you get her linens, her doilies, printables, then she includes some of these type of things in those kits. So it's a nice eclectic kit. I like it. And I will sew that on that page. I'll probably add a little bit of lace to each of them. I have these vintage ephemera pieces from Tsunami Rose. I have at least one of her vintage ephemera kits, and I have a lot of the stuff already printed. So I want to use one of them, but I want to make them look older. So I took one. This is an invoice for a corset. Must be for a store because they ordered half a dozen of one style and half a dozen of another. But I just wadded it up. I'm wadding it up again, squeezing it hard. I want to soften the paper to make it feel older. Paper softens as it ages. And then, of course, I have to ink it. I have my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. Liz Smith, Mrs. Cog, did a video about her vintage photography journals, and she mentioned a set of blending brushes that were fabulous, and then she did another video all about the blending brushes, and they were very, very expensive on Amazon. Someone gifted them to her, and she looked them up so she could have a spare set, and they were really expensive. But her husband found the exact same thing, but in the makeup section on Amazon, I believe. And so she got them, and she provided a link. Yeah, it was on Amazon because she provided a link to them. So I looked it up, and it was $15 for the set of 10 of these brushes, and there are different sizes. And then either she said or someone said in the comments that you can also find them at stores, at like Walmart. So while I was at Walmart today, I did look for them, and I found a set, but there were maybe 5 brushes instead of 10, and it actually cost $1 more than on Amazon. So I think I will order them from Amazon. I might try a different color in there too to make it look more aged. Well, I have, this is Vintage Photo, but it's Distress ink, not Distress Oxide. I don't know if that would make any difference. I think this was pretty well dry, that's why I started using the oxide. But I have antique linen here. I thought I brought a clean felt piece over here, but I probably lost it somewhere. I'll just flip it over upside down. This is antique linen, which is light color, so I don't know if that's going to show up very much either. It does give it a little more depth. Has a more yellow, aged paper look to it. It's probably kind of dry too. It's too bad I didn't use it very much. So I need to do one more. Let's see what I have here. Well, I don't know what this is a receipt for because it's in French. Doesn't really matter. This is sheet music. Specimens of handwriting. I think we'll go with this one. See the difference? Yeah, it really does make a difference having the antique linen on that one. I'm sorry, this is not very interesting, and I'm not even talking. I'm giving my arm a workout today, though. Now, if I could only do it left-handed, give that arm a workout, too. Gotta take my cardigan off. It's gotten warm in here. Okay, so I've got 2 of these antique pieces of paper. That paper, it fit on there, but it was just a little too narrow. Oh, I guess that might be the best one. They're all that narrow. So I'm going to just clip it on there. I might take all the paper clips off and alcohol ink them before I'm done with these journals. Okay. Let's see what kind of cards I have left. I'm sorry. I could sew them together and make a nice tuck spot there, or pocket. Maybe just put a little lace in between there or something. But of course, I need my sewing machine for that. Okay, this is a vintage book page that split when I folded it. So I need to put a little strip of paper there. I think I'll put the coffee dyed side facing out because I like that. Can't get it off my fingers. Oh dear. I don't know if that's going to work very well because when I went to fold it, it folded here, so the paper folded again, and it cracking again. I am going to put washi tape down there. Got this pretty rosebud washi tape, and it's see-through, and I don't mind because the book page will show through the text. Okay. So where was this? It wasn't in there, was it? Yeah. I think it was in there. I want to put a pretty image there. I'm going to put that there with something behind it. Or I could just do a little collage. I know this is going to go somewhere else. I'm just wondering if this would make a nice tuck spot like that. I've done that before, used 2 images or more, put them together and turn them into a tuck spot. Thought I had some round digitals here. Oh, that's too big. I think I like it just like that. But I have to make them a little sturdier. So I will sew around these, and then I will sew them together there, and then probably glue them on as a tuck spot. trying to think what I want to put here. It's a little too wide. Guess I can do kind of the same thing. This is already stitched copy dyed paper, and this is cardstock. So I guess they're ready to go. I just have to sew them together and then glue them on as a tuck spot. So I'm going to stop the camera and do some sewing, and then I'll be back.